Suppose now if a reaction is given to you to write down the rate law, in this case where the reaction of decomposition of ammonia is given to give 1 nitrogen and 3 hydrogen molecule, since now you have a knowledge of the rate, we could write down the rate for this particular reaction, and you know that rate is directly dependent on the concentration. Okay, so we could write rate is equal to K into concentration of ammonia, because rate is directly proportional to concentration of ammonia, but we have removed that proportionality sign by putting a constant, that is K. But raised to power 2 cannot be written by merely seeing a balanced equation, because when they perform the experiment for this reaction, okay, they have observed that the power is not coming as 2. Instead, they found that the power is 0 for a reaction. Okay, now any quantity to the power 0, you know, it is equal to 1. Okay, so we can say rate is a constant. For this reaction, the rate is coming as a constant. Okay, so finding this power, okay, which is also called as order for a reaction, is purely experimental based. So by seeing a balanced equation, writing the order will be totally wrong. Okay, because you cannot write the order for a reaction. It has to be done experimentally. So that is what you are going to learn in this video. So let us explore more about in detail how to find the order of a reaction. Now let me consider a reaction where reactant A molecules are reacting together to give product. Okay, for this reaction we can write down the rate law. So we know rate is directly proportional to concentration of the reactant raised to some power. Okay, here I have taken as X, because every reaction has some power and that has to be found out through experiment. So now for this reaction, we don't know what exactly the order for this reaction would be. Okay, so this is what we are going to find out through the experiment. So it's an unknown quantity for us, so I've considered as X. Okay, now to find out this order, the experiments are performed several times. They conduct the experiments by like changing the concentration of the reactant, and then they see what happens to the rate. For every reaction there are different order. Okay, so let us assume now first type of case. I'm going to consider first case. So now in the first case, we will take different concentration of the reactant and measure the rate for it. Okay, so I will take concentration of the reactant on one side and the rate on the other side. So let's say now we start the reaction with initial concentration of the reactant as 0.1. So for the 0.1 concentration, we need to measure the rate. Okay, so when the rate was measured, we obtained the value as 0.01. Then you need to increase the concentration. So we are going to double the concentration of the reactant. So it is 0.2. Okay, so when the concentration is doubled, with this particular concentration, we need to see what happens to the rate exactly. Okay, so when the rate was measured with doubled concentration of the reactant, it was again found to be as 0.01. Okay, then what we have done is we are going to make it 3 times more. The concentration of the reactant, we are going to make it 3 times more. So we are going to take as 0.3. Then we are going to measure the concentration. With this concentration, we are going to measure the rate for the reaction. Okay, so when the rate was measured, it was coming out as 0.01 itself. So what we are observing here is you are increasing the concentration of the reactant on one side. But as the concentration of the reactant is getting changed, A is getting changed, the rate is remaining constant. Okay, so nothing is affecting the rate. Rate is coming as constant. So mathematically, if you think now, when some quantity remains constant and the change between them, when you take, you will get as 0 itself. So here X value which we have taken, okay, as the order, so that value will be equal to 0, because you don't find any change happening when you keep increasing the concentration. So that is the reason why X value will become 0. So what will happen to the rate now in this case? So rate is equal to or proportional to concentration of A to the power 0. Okay, so where the rate is proportional to concentration of the power 0, such type of reactions are called as zero order reaction. So this equation tells you that how much ever the concentration of the reactant will be, the rate is going to remain unaffected by the concentration. So it is independent of the concentration of the reactant. If you are going to make it 100 times more also, the rate is going to remain same. Okay, the concentration has no effect on the rate. Okay, so such type of reactions are called as zero order reaction. So therefore, zero order reaction can be defined as the rate of the reaction which is independent of the concentration of the reactant. So if I take a general reaction where reactants are giving you product, we can write rate is directly proportional to concentration of the reactant, but power will be equal to 0 since it is a zero order reaction. So when you write that power is 0, you get a constant answer. So rate remains constant. So example for this zero order reaction is decomposition of ammonia on the surface of the platinum. When ammonia molecules are decomposed on the surface of platinum, it gives you nitrogen and hydrogen molecules. So when rate was measured for this particular reaction, it was found to be a constant. So we write rate is directly proportional to ammonia to the power 0. One more such example is thermal decomposition of hydrogen iodide on the surface of the gold. So here two hydrogen iodide molecules, when it was taken on the gold surface, it was decomposing to give hydrogen and iodine. So experimentally again, this reaction was found to be a zero order reaction where it was found to be independent from the concentration of the reactant. So we can write rate is directly proportional to concentration of hydrogen iodide, but then since they are independent, you will write as power 0. Now let me explain this zero order reaction to you with a daily life example, that why with increase in the concentration the rate is not getting affected. Okay, it is remaining constant. Let us see why is this happening. Now here, to understand this reaction, I have taken the example of preparation of cake. Now to prepare a cake we need a mold. So you can see the mold over here which has 6 places available. Okay, and let me assume that the baking time which is required for the preparation of this cake, let it be 30 minutes. So that means what? You can prepare 6 cakes at a period of 30 minutes. Okay, so that means at a time only 6 can be prepared. That means for 30 minutes you can prepare around 6. So in the first round of 30 minutes you can have 6. Then the second round of 30 minutes you can have 6. And the next round, that is third round, you can again have 6 in the 30 minutes of time. So with this change in the time, okay, that is the 30 minutes of time, the amount of cake we can prepare has remained constant. Okay, you cannot prepare more than this. Now why is that happening? Think for a while that why can't we prepare more than 6? Okay, so if you have thought now, that happens because once you pour the batter inside this mold which is there, okay, so the places in the vessels will be covered. Now you can pour only so much batter which can cover up these places. So whatever extra batter we have in the vessel will remain as it is. So how much ever the batter we have, okay, our baking cannot exceed more than 6. Okay, because of the places available in the mold is saturated with the batter, and once the baking is done now, you can remove the prepared ones. Okay, you can remove it out, then you can pour for the next set, then you can prepare the next set. Okay, so till then you can't go for it. Only the maximum amount can be prepared would remain as 6. Okay, now same thing you apply for the molecules which is getting adsorbed on the surface of the catalyst. So your first example which we had seen was the decomposition of the ammonia molecules on the surface of the platinum. So now ammonia molecules are getting adsorbed on the surface of the platinum catalyst. Okay, so where it is getting converted into a product, giving you that nitrogen and hydrogen. So now when ammonia molecules are getting adsorbed here on the surface of the platinum, the surface of the platinum will become fully covered with this ammonia molecules. and the remaining whatever extra ammonia molecules which are present, they will remain as it is. Okay, so you can see here the extra concentration of ammonia molecules, they cannot be absorbed. Only the ones which are getting absorbed can be getting converted into a product. And once these ammonia molecules which are absorbed decomposes and then they leave the surface and go out, then the next set can come and get absorbed and then they can get decomposed into a product. Okay, because once they go out, the surface will be made available and then the next set can come and get absorbed and have a reaction. Okay, so what we have seen here is that amount which you can prepare, okay, is fixed. So the fixed amount gets prepared in the presence of the catalyst. So that is the reason why the rate has remained constant. Now let us check out the second case where again for a reaction we are finding out what will happen to the rate when the concentration of the reactants are changed. So it's a different kind of a reaction of reactant A getting converted to give you product. Okay, so now we are finding out what will be the order, that is the X value for this particular reaction. So we are again going to take concentration of reactant on one side and the rate of the this reaction on the other side. So we shall check out now as we change the concentration what happens to the rate. So initially we will consider this concentration of the reactant as 0.1. Now with this concentration, when the rate was measured, they found out that the rate is coming at 0.01. Okay, now next time they are going to double the concentration. Okay, so when the concentration of the reactant was doubled, taken as 0.2, so for our surprise, what they have found is the rate is also getting doubled. Okay, so it is like increasing as we increase the concentration of the reactant. So compared to the initial one, the rate has got doubled. So now they made it 3 times more than the initial one. It was taken as 0.3. Okay, so when this was taken as a concentration of the reactant and the rate was measured, they again found that the rate is becoming 3 times. Okay, so what you find over here is as you keep changing the concentration of the reactant, that is A value, the rate is also getting changed. Okay, so we are having a linear increase, you can see, because if you make it 0.1, it was 0.01. When we made it 2, it became 0.02. When we made it 0.3, we got this as 0.03. So it's like a linear increase. You increase 1 and here you get an increase by 1. Okay, so it's like 1 to 1 increase, a linear increase, a straight line you will be able to get. Okay, when you draw the graph between the concentration of the reactant and the rate. So here, since it is increasing linearly, X value is taken as 1. Okay, so we could write down the rate as directly proportional to concentration of A to the power 1. So here you can see that the rate is directly proportional to first power of concentration of the reactant. So such type of reactions are named as first order reaction. So we can define this first order reaction as the rate of the reaction which is directly proportional to first power of the concentration of the reactant. Okay, so suppose if your reactant is R giving the product, we could write down rate is directly proportional to concentration of R to the power 1. Okay, where we find that you increase the concentration of the reactant, you will see that there is increase in the rate as well. Now example for this first order reaction is decomposition of N2O5, that is dinitrogen pentoxide. So when two molecules of dinitrogen pentoxide was decomposed, it was found to give two molecules of N2O4 plus one molecule of oxygen. So experimentally when this reaction was done, the rate was found to be directly proportional to the concentration of N2O5. So we could write down by removing the proportionality sign, rate is equal to K into concentration of N2O5 to the power 1. Okay, so it was found to be a first order reaction and this has to be found out through experiment. Just by seeing the equation we cannot determine this. Now let us look into a third type of a case, a third type of a reaction which would be possible of reactants A giving product, and we will find out what happens to the rate when the concentration was changed. Okay, it's a different type of a reaction again now. So we will check out now by taking a reactant concentration on one side and the rate on the other side. So initially with 0.1 concentration, the rate for this reaction was found to be 0.01. Now, when you do for the next case, by increasing the concentration as 0.2, the rate was found to, see, it is not getting doubled. If it was doubled, it should be 0.02. Okay, this should be the double concentration, but it is, we could say it is double, correct? No, because if you square this out now, okay, when you write square of this would be the answer. Means 0.02, the whole square would give you 0.04. So this was happening in this third type of a reaction. Okay, now then they started checking out for the next case. When the next case was done with 0.3 concentration, see what happened to the rate. So when the concentration was tripled, we got the rate as 0.09. Okay, so this is again like when you triple the concentration, if you get 0.03, that would be like it is increasing linearly. Okay, but now here it is not becoming 0.3. Again, if you square them out, you will get 0.09. Okay, so how is the increase going to take place here? Have you like observe properly? As you increase the concentration of the reactant, you are finding that the rate is increasing in a square ratio, correct? No, so as A is getting changed, the reactant rate is changing raised to power 2. Okay, so in that case we could write down x value as 2 because it's going with a power raised to 2. Okay, exponentially they are increasing with a power 2. So then we could write down rate is directly proportional to concentration of A to the power 2. Such type of reactions are called as second order reaction, where rate is directly proportional to second power of the concentration of the reactant. If you just see this equation, you could define any reaction. Okay, zero order, first order, and even the second order, any order can be defined just by seeing that equation. So we could say second order is where the rate is proportional to second power of the concentration of the reactants. Okay, and the example is decomposition of NO2, that is nitrogen dioxide, to 2 NO and 1 oxygen molecule. So when we found out experimentally, this rate was proportional to concentration of nitrogen dioxide raised to power 2. So in this equation, if you check out now, see the order is equal to the stoichiometric coefficient. So this is purely a coincidence, okay, that we have got experimentally also, and through a balanced equation the order and the stoichiometric coefficient are matching to each other. Okay, so that can be found out only through the experiment. Now let's look into the second type of example of hydrogen molecule reacting with iodine, giving 2 hydrogen iodide. So here the rate was found to be proportional to concentration of hydrogen and concentration of iodine. Means the rate was found to increase with increase in the concentration of hydrogen and increase in the concentration of iodine. Okay, again this is an example for second order reaction because it's increasing with increase in concentration of both of the reactant, that is hydrogen and iodine. So it's power 1 and 1. With hydrogen it is power 1 and with iodine it is power 1. So when you add up the power for the overall reaction, you would get the order is equal to 2. Okay, so again this is a second order reaction, but when you have two reactants coming together, okay, so such type of reactions are again coming under second order reaction because total power you are getting as 2. Now here you can get the definition. When you have two reactants, what we have done is we have just done the addition. That means it is the sum of the powers of the concentration of the reactants. In which one? In a rate law expression. So that will be the definition of the order. So order is nothing but when you have two reactants coming together, if you sum up their order, like when you sum up their powers, that gives you the order. So order is sum of the powers of the concentration of the reactants. In which one I have told you, rate law expression. That is called as order of that particular chemical reaction. So if you have a general reaction now of rate is equal to K into concentration of A to the power X and B to the power Y, where X and Y are the order. Okay, so overall order for the reaction will be is equal to overall order is equal to x plus y. Okay, suppose if you have only one reactant, whatever power you are getting, that will be the order. Now order you have studied, they can be whole number ratio, like 0 we had, 1 we had, 2 we had, and it can go on like that. But remember, order can also be in fractions and they can also be negative, because if you are increasing the concentration of the reactant, suppose if the rate decreases, then you will get a negative value for it. So order can be of different types. It can be a whole number like 0, 1, 2, it can be a fraction, or it can even have a negative integer value. Now let's see a few example problem related to the order of the reaction so that this concept becomes clear to you. Now see here, first case rate they have given is equal to k into a to the power 1 by 2 and b to the power 3 by 2. So here powers are 1 by 2 and 3 by 2. So order, what you have to do is just you need to sum up whatever powers are given on the top of the concentration of the reactant. So the answer will be, for this case, top 1 by 2 plus 3 by 2. So you just have to sum them up. Okay, so 2 is common in the denominator. So 1 plus 3 will give you 4. So 4 by 2 is equal to 2. Okay, now second case, see the power, it is 3 by 2 and minus 1. So 3 by 2 minus 1. Okay, so when you take the LCM, you will get 3 minus 2 divided by 2. So 3 minus 2 is 1. 1 by 2. Okay, so it's half for this case and it's 2 for the first one. Now let's go for our next topic, that is to find out the unit for the rate constant. So you can find out by using the rate law expression, okay, which is having the rate constant k over here. We could rearrange this expression and write them in terms of the rate constant k, where you would get k is equal to rate by the concentration of the reactant. Okay, so now remember, you're finding the unit for the rate constant for the overall reaction. So rate is nothing but the change in the concentration divided by time. So we could write them this has concentration divided by time. We are finding out what is the unit, correct? No, so it's concentration by time. Now this side you see, you have the whole divided by the concentration of the reactants. Okay, so it will be like whole divided by concentration of the reactant. Okay, now you can see here, this I will write as common because both are expressed in concentration. Since it is for overall reaction, I could just write this as x plus y. Now what we are going to do is, this x plus y would be taken as n. Okay, because just now I told you it's for overall reaction. So we could combine that base together of concentration and power we can club together. Okay, like this. Like you remember, a to the power x into a to the power y will be a to the power x plus y. So like that only here we have concentration to the power x. Again concentration to the power y. So it will be concentration of x plus y. Okay. So that we are clubbing them together. We will consider that as n. Okay. So I will just keep this concentration of x plus y power n. Okay. We would take to this side. Divided, no, it was. So when you take to the other side will become 1 divided by concentration to the power n. Okay. So where n is equal to x plus y. Okay. Now how is the concentration being expressed? Here concentration we are expressing in molarity. Molarity means number of moles of the solute by volume of the solution in liter. So that means moles by liter. So your concentration will be mole per liter and time would be measured in seconds. So mole per liter by second. Into you have here 1 divided by concentration. Again concentration is measured in molarity. So 1 divided by mole per liter, but overall to the power n. Okay. So this will be the common expression we are going to use, okay, to find out the unit for the rate constant. So now we are going to find out for different reactions what would be the rate constant, like for zero order, for first order and for the second order. So remember students, this n value is there. No, this will be different for the different reaction. Like we have no zero first and then second order reaction. So depending on that overall reaction, you need to substitute the n value. So we shall find out now this unit for different reaction. So I've made 3 columns. Now here order is for overall reaction. So that n is equal to x plus y. Total we are finding out. Okay. So we'll start with the zero order reaction. You know, zero order reaction where the n value will be 0. Okay, so that means when you added the both of the reactant power, you got them as 0. Okay, so we could substitute this as mole per liter by second, and you have 1 divided by mole per liter to the power n. Now that power n here will be 0. N value is 0, no? So we will substitute that as 0. Now any quantity to the power 0 is how much? Any quantity to the power 0 is 1. Like a to the power 0 is equal to 1. So this whole thing will become 1. Okay, this value will become 1. So here we don't have anything. What is left out now? We are left out with mole per liter per second. That will be the unit for zero order reaction. So a unit for zero order reaction is mole per liter per second. Okay, or you can write a second inverse. Now let's see for the second case. Okay, so that is the first order reaction. So in that first order reaction, the n value will be equal to 1. Do the same thing here. N you substitute as 1. Okay, so mole per liter per second into 1 divided by mole per liter, where there was n, we have substituted now 1. Okay, so here 1 means you have that same quantity remaining. So you can see what we can cancel out here. So in the numerator you have mole per liter, in the denominator also we have mole per liter, so this could be cancelled out. So once we have cancelled this concentration terms, now what is remaining? 1 by S. So 1 by S would be the unit. Okay, you can also write a second inverse, 1 by S or S to the power minus 1 when you take them up. So this will be our unit for the first order. Let's go for the second order. So n value is equal to 2 now here. Okay, so think of doing it by yourself. So your mole per liter per second, 1 divided by mole per liter to the power 2. Okay, so when you have power 2, check out what can be cancelled up. You have mole per liter. 1 mole per liter would get cancelled here. Okay, 1 would get cancelled. So you will have 1 remaining. Okay, so when you have 1 remaining now, this is in the denominator. Okay, so when from the denominator, when they go up, mole when they go up, it will become mole inverse. Okay, so you will have now mole inverse. Remember, mole inverse. Liter inverse is going up. Okay, you know that signs will change when they go from the denominator to the numerator. So it would become liter. Okay, second inverse. 1 by S only. No, it was here only. So it will be second inverse. So S minus 1. This will be our unit. So it's mole inverse, liter, and then second inverse. So students, now here, this is actually one way of finding the order of the reaction using the rate constant. You know, we don't have any other way to find other than the experiment. Okay, but in the problem, if they mention what is the rate constant, then it would be easier for you to find out what will be the order of that particular reaction. Okay, so you need to remember these rate constants. So mole per, now here mole, liter inverse and second inverse. So if they have given that value, remember it should be a zero order. Second inverse means it should be a first order, and mole inverse, liter and second inverse, if they have given, that means it has to be a second order reaction. So we'll work out few problem. Like now here I have taken two rate constant, like rate constant values I have taken. So you need to identify what is the reaction order for this, like what type of order of the reaction you have for these rate constants. So first one, it's liter, mole inverse and second inverse. So if you remember, this unit we have got for the last case, so that was a second order reaction. So your answer is 2. Okay, so the order of the reaction is 2 over. Now see the second one. In second one, the unit is second inverse. Second inverse we have got for the second case, you remember, for first order reaction. Okay, so the answer for this is first order reaction.